1918. Out of the ruins of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, an independent republic, Czechoslovakia, is born. In the summer of 1920, the Czechoslovak Travel and Transport Agency was one of the hundreds of new companies that sprung up in Czechoslovakia. It was founded by the Bohemia Czechoslovak Bank and the regional travel associations to compete with foreign companies on the market for travel services. However, it took 4 months to register the company, so it legally came into existence on the 26th of October 1920.
The new travel agency had 4 branches in Prague, Brno, Karlovy Vary, and Františkovy Lázně. Its head office was on Mikolanska Street in Prague, and its main branch was on Hybernska Street, the busiest street in Prague at the time.
From the start, significant revenues came from selling train tickets, especially to miners traveling to work in French coal mines, and then ship tickets for people emigrating to America. To expand the company, a branch was founded in Bratislava, followed by 3 branches abroad in Paris, London, and Vienna.
In the mid-1920s, Čedák came up with a revolutionary business strategy, placing its bets on new types of transport, buses and airplanes.
It bought 7 comfortable buses from the Czech car maker Praga, seating between 9 and 26 passengers, which allowed Čedák to offer sightseeing tours and open-top buses, especially in Prague. And also long-distance journeys. It was one of the first travel agencies in Europe to scale mountain passes.
Čedák used airplanes for overseas travels to Egypt and Morocco, and also for tours of France, Italy, and Spain. Čedák was one of the first travel agencies in Central Europe to issue its own traveler's checks.
In 1926, the company officially registered its abbreviated name, Čedák, which became a synonym for quality travel.
Much later, there was also a new company logo, an ibis on a heraldic shield.
In the mid-1920s, Čedák began publishing its first complete catalogs of package tours, Our Voyages, offering journeys to European cities, the Mediterranean, Scandinavia, North Africa, and Yugoslavia.
Holidays by the sea were now in fashion, and Czech tourists were the first to discover the Yugoslav coast, the Slavic Riviera. The most popular resorts were on the northern Adriatic around Trieste, especially the island of Grado and the Art Nouveau spa town of Opatia near Rijeka. Upmarket tourists headed for the famous Lido in Venice and the island of Capri.
Tourism was also developing in Czechoslovakia, with holidays in the mountains and at spas and visits to Prague. Popular destinations included Špindlerov Mlýn and the High Tatras.
By the beginning of the 1930s, Čedák had 20 branches in Czechoslovakia. Regardless of the Great Depression, Čedák dramatically increased the range of tours in its catalog.
In 1936, Čedák became a joint stock company with the state as majority owner.
In 1939, on the eve of World War II, Čedák helped arrange for 8 trains to travel from Prague to London, which Sir Nicholas Winton used to save 669 Jewish children from the horrors of the war.
During the Nazi occupation of Czechoslovakia, Čedák's business declined. It lost its branches in Sudetenland and Slovakia and became part of the German travel agency Mehr.
During these years, the company confined its operations mainly to one-day outings by train and recreation for factory workers.
Just 10 days after liberation, a decree by President Beneš brought Čedák under national administration. The company quickly resumed its work, and on the 6th of June 1945, it arranged the first tours of Prague for visitors from overseas.
It also lent those of its coaches that had survived wartime requisitioning to help repatriate inmates from concentration camps.
A year later, Chedok's first branch abroad in London was reopened, and it organized trips to Prague, which the war had left largely intact. Chedok again had high hopes for air travel, which had been resumed.
The communist takeover marked the beginning of a dark chapter in Chedok's history. There was a drive to expand heavy industry, and holidays were only intended for workers to rest and recuperate, mainly in spas and facilities operated by the trade unions.
Chedok introduced alternative forms of business. It published tourist guides and music and sold postage stamps and tickets for sports and arts events, as well as operating a travel savings scheme.
In these years of rationing, Chedok came up with a useful idea: Christmas gift vouchers.
Package holidays abroad were revived in 1954, and Chedok again published its catalog. Seaside holidays were exclusively in countries behind the Iron Curtain, mainly Bulgaria, which Czechs now discovered just as they had discovered Yugoslavia before the war. Other destinations were Romania, Hungary, East Germany, and Poland, and for a short time Albania too, while holidays in Yugoslavia were reduced to a minimum. The Soviet Union was a prestigious destination for sightseeing tours and holidays.
Following a slight relaxation in official policy and Czechoslovakia's success at Expo 58 in Brussels, tourism to Czechoslovakia was revived. Castles and chateaux opened their gates to foreign tourists, and other sites and beauty spots could also be visited.
Chedok had an official monopoly on tourism to Czechoslovakia. The state put the best hotels under its control with the aim of bringing them up to international standards. Dining cars and sleepers were also managed by Chedok, along with cable cars and chairlifts.
A further relaxing of the political regime and the simplifying of formalities for travel in the later half of the 1960s resulted in an expansion of travel to Yugoslavia and to capitalist countries, especially Austria, Italy, and France.
Tourists from overseas brought with them a new way of paying: credit cards. In 1967, Chedok became the first company in Czechoslovakia to accept credit cards.
However, that boom was ended by the occupation of Czechoslovakia in August 1968, at which time 20,000 Czechoslovaks were abroad. Chedok helped repatriate them as well as independent travelers.